As runners, we all challenge ourselves in ways we never thought possible, pushing the boundaries of what we're capable of to smash through targets and set ourselves new, bigger and better ones.
This awesome hobby that we share gives us one thing in common, and it brings us together as a community. Whether you're working towards completing your first parkrun or you're a veteran of the sport who's run 100 ultra marathons, we all know the feeling of reaching that maxed out effort and our own red line.
Welcome to our podcast, where your hosts Brett Elesmore and Andy Maguire discuss the struggles, the successes and everything in between on our running journeys, as we all work towards the next time we're running the red line. Hello and welcome to episode 55 of Running the Red Line. I am your host Brett and I am joined as always by my co-host Andy. How are you doing this week, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. The weather, apart from today, has been, by recent standards, scorchio, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's been absolutely phenomenal. So I don't know about you, but that just puts a spring in everybody's step that I know. And it's just made the week feel so much better. It's amazing what a bit of sun can do after like a 3-month absence of sun. Everyone just feels so much, I don't know, everyone just feels more friendly in the supermarket or just around
town. A little
bit
more smiley and pleasant.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, it's been quite nice and quite spring-like, isn't it? So
yeah. It's been good. It's been really nice. Actually, getting out in the fresh air has been nice this last week. Yeah, it's been really, really nice, and all the daffodils are out, and all the little lambs are barring, and all that. It's proper. We're in springtime now, so I think the finish line might be in sight. I think we might finally be climbing out of winter. Yeah,
finally, hopefully,
fingers
that
crossed.
might be right. Yeah. But no, it's been nice, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Talking of daffodils, on my birthday, when I went to the supermarket, by the tills, there was some little pots of daffodils, and they'd been reduced because they didn't look the healthiest, but they still looked pretty good. And obviously the bulbs, they'll sprout again next year. So I was like, I've got a pot on my windowsill in the kitchen that's got nothing in. So I'll grab those and I'll put them in the windowsill. And then the next day, my when I was in the kitchen, my cat Boba went up to it and just started biting all of the leaves. And I was like, oh man, I can't leave anything in this house without him biting it. And then I went, hang on a minute, I need to check that. And did you know daffodils are poisonous to cats and dogs?
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
that everything is, I swear.
Yeah,
but
a long time ago, he decided to walk up to a bouquet of flowers and eat the powder off the stem on a lily, and I had to rush him to the vets because that's like proper poisonous. Yeah. And he was in the vets for 3 days having a clear out. He was on like an IV, clearing out all of his kidneys and everything.
So you didn't even wait for him to get sick. You just were like, right, you're off. You're going.
Yeah. And the vets were like, get him here now because that's how poisonous it is.
Well, they say it's like, I think lilies for some reason are slightly either worse for cats than dogs, or they're more attractive to cats than dogs. I don't know what, but there's a bit of a, I don't know, unwritten rule that cats and lilies don't mix. But for dogs, it's chocolate, isn't it?
Yes.
Chocolates are poison for dogs.
Yeah.
And
it's not very good for cats either, but it's really bad for dogs, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So fortunately, we've never had a chocolate incident. But I tell you what we did with Daisy once, and I don't know if this is just a generic animals hating the vet story, but she started like basically choking on a thing that we give her, like, just like a little treat. And she even did the blooming Marley and Me thing where she went and hid in a bush. I thought, brilliant. She's going to be dead in half an hour. Cheers. Brilliant. This is the worst day of my life. So went and got her and got her in the car, took her to the vets, drove like Lewis Hamilton to get there, got her out of the car, and in that time she dislodged it, and she was like, to all the vets, and she was fine. And we just had to pay like 90 quid for a consultation for a really fit and healthy dog that looked like she was just taking the mickey out of all of us.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Can I have a treat now?" I was like, "You absolute prat."
Yeah. See, after that instant of rushing him up to the vets, and because he had to stay in and be on an IV and all sorts, he hates the vets now. Absolutely hates it. Like Misa, I take her up to the vets for a checkup and everything. She just comes out. She's chilled, absolutely fine. Boba, I get him in his basket, and as soon as we get into the vets, he's like this, and I have to get the cat basket with the door at the bottom and just shake it to get him out. And as soon as he lands, he just lands down and goes. It's so good.
Oh, poor guy.
So the last time I took him to the vets, I had to get some what's called tranquilizer first to feed him before I took him up to the vets, just to calm him down enough. So the vet could actually look at him.
You had to get him stoned.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And then I had to grab him, wrapping him in a towel, and hold on to him whilst the vets checked him over, because he's that scared of the vets. But as soon as you step out the door of the vets, he's chill. He's perfectly fine.
It's like a reflex, isn't it? They just have it in their DNA, or they remember it from
he can smell what it's like at the vets. He knows what happened last time he was there. He don't want to be there.
No, that's just animals, isn't it? They hold on to that trauma, don't they? Like all of us do, I suppose.
Yeah, well, yeah, very true. Very true.
But yeah, it's apart from I was going to say that story didn't happen this week, but it's been a decent week, hasn't it? I think weather-wise, it's been all right. And there was a marathon which we'll get talking about last week. The first major of the year kicked off last year. I didn't actually watch any of it because I was away. I'll tell you what I did last Saturday night. I went to a 70th birthday party.
Yeah,
it was the most. So my mum's side of the family are all from a place called Oldham, which is like, they call it Greater Manchester, but my family in Oldham hate it when you call it that. It's like 5 or 10 mile outside of Manchester, and it's like they're just like, we go and see each other, and it's like we're back in 1992. It's like nothing. No, I don't mean that like style and decor wise. I mean like, well, it is a bit like that some places, but like when we meet each other, the things that we do are exactly the same. Like we always go to social club, or we always go, we don't ever do anything flashy or fancy or anything like that.
Yeah.
So my uncle had a surprise 70th birthday party in a social club last Saturday night. And it was brilliant seeing all the friends and seeing all the family that, I don't get to see them so much these days. And it was just like, it's just like I said, it just felt like the early 90s again. But it was slightly odd because there was karaoke at a 70th birthday party. And on one side of the room, you've got me Uncle Duncan's family, which are all of us lot. And then on the other side, he's a postie, where he's retired now, you've got all the Royal Mail lot, who are animals, by the way. So I don't know any posties, but now I've had a little insight into what they get up to on a Saturday night, and they are absolute animals. So what would you say, not inappropriate, but what is one of the weirdest songs that you could probably think of doing for karaoke? Bear in mind, it's about 9:15. So the party it's not really in full swing by now. So for example, like my cousin got up and did Sweet Caroline. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Another family member got up and did like an old Elvis song.
Yeah.
Someone from the Royal Mail got up.
I'm gonna say they did Who Let the Dogs Out.
No, equally weird, but probably more weird.
Mr. Bombastic by Shaggy.
No, I'm going to have to literally play it for you because I had to film 10 seconds of it because it was like, what is going on right now? This guy thought he was Keith from The Prodigy.
Firestarter.
Can you hear that? Oh, let me just disconnect from... It's about 9 o'clock. It was honestly, it was brilliant. And then some of his mates got up and did some equally awesome things as well, which was quite funny.
Amazing.
But yeah, nothing kind of. It's the weirdest vibe to have a karaoke from a birthday party.
For a 70th birthday party, and he gets up and does Firestarter. That's pretty ballsy.
Well, the one before him was my blooming 7-year-old niece did Taylor Swift, and then and then Colin from the sorting office gets up and does that. Honestly, it was such comedy. It was absolutely brilliant, and yeah, but it was a good night, and we all got up and sang "Hey Jude" at the end. That was the last song. But there was an after party. This is how my family just snowball an idea. Word got around that my auntie Sheila said, "Oh, let's finish the party at mine," and I was me and my sister had to bundle my mom into our taxi. We're like, "Mom, you can't do this because you can't get home." She's like, "It'll be fine." My mom thinks that she's 23 when she's with that Oldham lot.
Did she leave a passport in the toilet again?
Fortunately, there was no planes that needed to be taken that day. So yeah, when she's had a drink, she's a character, my mother. But I was on best behavior because on the Sunday I did my long run.
Yes.
And when they were saying, "Oh, we're going to have an after party," and I was thinking, I just want to go to bed because I want to get up at 7 to do me 30k. And I thought, oh my God, who have I become? I'm turning down going out for a party because I want to go for a hilly long run in the morning. But my other sister agreed with me. She was like, "No, we all need to go to bed now. It's 12:30. Mum was like, "No, come on, let's go on. Let's go and get a bottle of wine. We'll be fine." No, Mum, we will not be fine. We've been to Auntie Sheila's a lot, and normally the sun is normally coming up by the time we're ready to go home.
Brilliant.
So yeah, that was a good weekend. I had 24 hours at North last week, which was fun, and I managed to get me long running. But yeah, so that was pretty funny hearing Firestarter at a karaoke. That was a new one for me.
Excellent.
So yeah. Well, are we matching? A little mug bros today.
Excellent.
We could flog these. I reckon we could get £20 a mug for these.
What do you reckon?
25 quid.
Would anybody want a run in the red line mug?
Well, I've often thought about that. It's got our faces on it. It's quite an intimate thing to sell to people. They're literally going to have our faces in their kitchen. So they must have to really like us, I suppose. But yeah, that came up in someone's. In fact, that comes up in an email we're going to read in a bit about potential running the red line merch. There might be a demand for it because someone has said, "Get on it." So yeah, but something to think about, maybe.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, we definitely need to do emails this week because we didn't manage to do them last week, did we? And we've had quite a few, haven't we, that we need to get through. So we will get onto those soon. But have you seen anything this week that has caught your eye or made you pay attention?
Yes, I forgot to say this to you. You might have already seen it. Your mate from the Manchester Marathon last year who ran in Crocs.
Oh, yes.
Did you see his video about the band shoes, the Puma shoes?
Using the Puma RB.
The rule breakers.
Yeah,
Those things look like trampolines, don't they? The way that they're constructed.
Yeah, because they've got 3 carbon plates in them.
3? I thought it was 2.
No, they've got 3 carbon plates in them. They've got.
So where are they then?
They've got. They're all at different funny angles, but they've got one and then a bit of midsole foam, then another one at an angle, then midsole foam, and then another carbon plate.
Wow. But it was interesting, like watching him run, and he just seemed to run. Well, I'm sure he'll be like, no, it wasn't easy, but he made it look so easy. He was sort of talking the whole way through it.
Yeah.
And I think he got rounded about 250 in the end, didn't he, or something? 255, is it?
249, I think he ran.
Wow, that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
So what if I wear them then? For like he said, all it takes is for one marshal to report him and he'll get disqualified. Is that only if you try and run a record for your club, or
no? It's if you're competing for the win. So World Athletics have banned them. So basically, if you enter a marathon and you're competing for one of the places up at the top, and you're competing for prize money and world records or national records or something like that, then they're banned. But us, because we're amateur everyday runners, we can wear what we like in a marathon. So you could wear the Prime X, you could wear those Puma RBs, you could wear whatever you want.
So they say that they're illegal, but they're not really.
Well, they're illegal for pro athletes to wear.
Right. Because I think, there
was a guy who ran for Adidas who ran a marathon and won it wearing the Prime X. And then they noticed after he'd won it that he was wearing the Prime X and disqualified him. And he tried to claim that he'd picked up the wrong shoes out of his bag and meant to put the Pro 3s on. But he got disqualified, so he didn't get the win and didn't get the prize money and everything. But lots of people thought it was a advertising thing for Adidas, and Adidas paid him to go and race and win wearing the Prime X to show how good those shoes were.
Well, if you can win a marathon wearing non-carbon shoes.
Well, no, the Prime X are carbon.
Are they? They've got a plate in them.
The Prime X have got so the original Prime X that I've got have got a carbon plate and the carbon rods, whereas the Prime X2 have got 2 carbon plates.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was just the massively, absurdly high stack height.
No, they've got carbon in as well.
So not only are they really comfy, they've also got that energy return as well.
Yeah, and that's another reason why they're illegal, because they've got the original Prime X have got a plate and the rods, so they've basically got 2 carbon plates. And then the new Prime X, the Prime X2 Strong, have got 2 carbon plates with like a completely different type of foam in between the 2 carbon plates. What people think, actually, because when it came out, the Prime X Strong 2, people would say they gave the bit of foam in between the 2 carbon plates, they gave a different name. They didn't call it Light Strike Pro. So it had Light Strike Pro at the top, Light Strike Pro at the bottom, but it sandwiched in between the plates was a softer foam. And they think that foam is now what's in the Pro 4. So it's that much softer version of Light Strike Pro.
Right. Oh, interesting. So, so that's what makes them so appealing then. I totally get why they're so good for long runs now.
Yeah.
I just haven't found them at the right price. And the ones that are, well, let's be honest, still quite expensive / affordable. About 150 for the old version now, aren't they?
Yes.
For the ones.
But that's what I paid for them. What, 2, maybe 3 years ago? So
they haven't changed
really
in price.
No.
Because aren't the X, what they call Prime X2 Strongs, and there's Prime X2? Yeah. There's 2 different ones.
So there's the Prime X, the original ones, which is what I've got. Then there's the Prime X Strung, which was exactly the same midsole and outsole, but with a strung upper. And then there's this Prime X Strung 2.
Right. And they were about 250 or no, 220.
Yeah, they're 250 full price, yeah.
Right.
Which is a lot of money for a pair of shoes, isn't it?
Would you ever do that? Would you ever wear a pair of illegal shoes for a marathon?
I wouldn't use one for a race, for a marathon that I want to do well in, because I feel like I'm cheating myself.
Yeah.
I want to stay within the legal bounds to know that no matter what, that's what I would have got I don't want any extra benefit from shoes, which, yeah, super shoes already give you a benefit, but super shoes possibly give you even more.
But just playing devil's advocate, like, but they're not illegal, are they?
No.
So you could be well in your rights to wear them.
I could, but I know in my head I'd feel like I'd cheated myself a little bit.
Yeah. Because if maybe there's people listening to this that have run their fastest ever times in shoes like that, you know.
But which is perfectly fine, and claim it as your PB.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you shouldn't at all, because we're amateurs at the end of the day. We're not pros. We're not bound by the rules of pros. We go out there and put our full effort in, and if we come away with a PB wearing a shoe that the pros can't wear, oh well, it's still a PB.
What was that?
Definitely claim it. But me personally, I wouldn't want to.
Was that the same kind of idea that you were talking about last summer about track and track competition? If you're not meeting the regulations of spikes and you know, things like that, your record won't count, or your
So if you break a club record or anything on the track and you're not wearing legal shoes, then your record won't stand.
Yeah.
So you can still race and you can still win the race and whatever, but if you break a club record, it won't stand as a record.
Right.
So like when I was running track last summer, I was wearing spikes, and some people were wearing Vaporflies, and some people were wearing like super shoes, and then some people were wearing like low stack shoes to run on the track.
Yeah.
So it was a mixture of all types of shoes, but the I don't know what the official, I was going to say judge, but the official will come along at the start and look at everybody's shoes, and they'll go, yes, they're fine, and put a tick on the list, and they'll have a list of everybody, and they'll write down whether you've got legal or illegal shoes on.
Right. Yeah.
But that's something that's changed this year, which is interesting as well when they've done it, because the size of midsole for track spikes has now changed. So it used to be that they have to be under 25 mil, I think it was. So track spikes had to be under 25 mil a stack for the midsole, and they've changed it this year that they've got to be under 20, so they're 20 or under. Which means some of the middle distance spikes, like the on 10,000 meter spikes, I think they were about 22, 23 mil. They're now illegal. So you can't actually, so like pros can't even race in them in a race because they're illegal.
Yeah.
And what some people are saying is bad is because the new rules only came in at the start of this year, qualifying times for the world champs can be from towards the end of last year.
Yeah.
So some people are saying it's not really fair, because if someone's run the standard at the end of last year in a pair of illegal spikes, their time still counts towards worlds this year, even though they did it in a pair of shoes which someone who's trying to do it now can't wear.
Yeah, that's a bit of a inconsistent kind of rule.
Yeah, but now all track spikes have to be under 20 mil to be legal.
Does that mean you've got to go and get some new ones?
No.
Yours?
So my spikes, my spikes are still under 20 mil.
Right. So that's across the board then. That's not like for the pros. That's for everyone competing in athletics.
Yes. Well, yeah.
Outdoor athletics,
if you're going for records or anything, I mean, I'm not going to get anywhere close to records. But when I'm on the track, I like to actually wear. Again, the same as the marathon. I like to wear shoes which are within the limits, so I know that the times that I'm getting aren't boosted by anything. That wouldn't be allowed in an actual professional race.
Yeah. Ah, interesting. So while we're on the subject of track, do you want to mention the kit change that we saw?
Oh yes,
for
I have got
Norway.
written down. Yes, so Norway have a new kit sponsor. So they used to be sponsored by Puma. So the Norwegian kit was mainly blue with white text and a bit of red on it, wasn't it? Because obviously the Norwegian colours. The flag is mainly blue, isn't it? The Norwegian flag. It's mainly blue with bits of white and red.
Yeah, I
sure
might have to Google that. I can't off the back of my head. Is it a blue background?
Yeah.
With a red cross.
No, I think it's a white cross with red bits. Or is
no, it's mainly red.
Well, oh yeah, it is.
It's red background, blue cross with a white background. So the one we didn't say.
Wow, it's the opposite of what we were thinking.
See, that's why I've always thought that the old Norway kit wasn't right, because the Norwegian football team always play in red, and they always have done.
Yeah.
And obviously the flag is the majority red, but yet the Norway colours are. But I mean, that's the same with like a few countries that, like Holland. There's no orange in the Dutch flag, yet they've just adopted the colour orange. But I don't know if Norwegian athletics has always been that dark blue. I'm not sure, or maybe that's
at one point they had a mostly white kit at one point. Norway,
which was
pretty cool as well. Yeah, but they've changed sponsor. So they used to be sponsored by Puma, and for 2025 they are now sponsored by the Three Stripes. So they are now kit sponsored by Adidas. And Jakob took to the track at the European Championships yesterday, I think it was, for his qualifier for his heat. And he was wearing a new Adidas speed suit, but it was pretty good, wasn't it? It's a pretty good kit.
Yeah, it was really good.
Red with white Norway across the front, big Adidas white badge. Like on the old kit, the Puma badge was quite subtle and you couldn't quite see it, but Adidas are like, nope, you are making sure that you're in an Adidas kit. So it's got big Adidas logo and then the black stripes down the leg, which is basically because he's got the speed suit, but Adidas at the end of last year developed a new type of half tight, which has got like rubber, not rubber, silicone bits all across the outside, which are designed to support your muscles, so your muscles don't fatigue as much. I'm not sure how much that actually works or anything, but they're on the speed suit as well, those silicone stripes and everything.
Right, yeah. It does look really. It looks at the same colorway as well as that bright red release of pro kit.
Yes.
On the road, it looks at it almost like quite a scarlet red, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. It looks great. But what I really like about it is obviously Jakob is a Nike sponsored athlete.
Yeah.
And now he's having to wear an Adidas kit.
Yeah. I wonder what Nike think about that. Well, they know. I mean, Jakob is probably like one of those big, a bit like Kipchoge and David Beckham is to Adidas, and that he'll never. Well, you would have thought anyway. He's got like a lifetime sponsorship. You would have thought. Do you think?
Oh, with Nike, yeah. I don't think they'll ever drop him. Yeah.
Like, do you reckon like David Beckham, even though he's long time been retired, he's still affiliated with Adidas, isn't he?
Oh, 100%, 100%.
Like,
you wouldn't know the Nike Predator boot without
the Adidas Pred. Yeah.
Sorry, not Nike. What am I talking about? The Adidas Predator. You wouldn't know the Adidas Predator boot without David Beckham.
Exactly.
That tongue that flapped over the laces and the bit of elastic that went underneath. They're iconic with David Beckham, aren't they?
Yeah. But even though he's 50 now or whatever age he is, he's still sponsored by them. So the bigger you are as a sports star.
Yeah. That's the point, actually, because obviously Messi is a Adidas athlete as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Is Inter Miami sponsored by? Is their kit Adidas? Because that's David Beckham's team, isn't it? That David Beckham runs that team. He owns it.
Yeah, I think it is a surprise, surprise. Oh man, look at their new shirt.
Their pink kit is amazing.
Well, Laura would be absolutely going it should be in heaven, because she says to me, she goes, "Why don't any football teams playing pink? Why don't any football teams playing turquoise?" Their away kit is an Adidas turquoise kit.
Yeah,
that looks really nice, and their home kit is that like really nice pink.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a great colorway, isn't it?
There's only one team that I know that play in pink, and that's Palermo, and I think they're from Sicily. Apart from that, I don't know any other teams. But apparently, with football teams, it's all about trying to intimidate or confuse the opposition.
Okay.
So it's said that red is the color of power, passion, and victory. So a lot of teams that will play in red have that ethos. And pink is probably on the opposite scale of that thought process. In fact, there is a team called
confusion, wouldn't it? Pink.
Yeah. But there's another team called Venezia, again from Italy, and they were well into fashion. Venezia kit. At one point, their kit I think was made by like Prada or Gucci or something, and their football kits are like showstoppers. Like, look at this football kit. Looks like some wallpaper. That's great. Amazing. And they're like, I think that's they're made by Kappa. That's an old school 90s throwback for you, isn't it?
And they have jogging bottoms with the poppers down the leg as well.
Yeah. Oh man, I used to wear that down the disco, down the year 7 school disco, hoping to get a slow dance at the end of the night or someone.
I tell you a kit that I think is great, and it was the Man U kit from a few years back, but the away kit, and it was I think it was white and blue, and then it had pink badges. So the Manchester United badge was pink. I don't know if you remember it.
I don't actually. No, I don't actually remember that. It does annoy me when I really like a rival team's shirt.
This one. Such an amazing kit. Hang on. Come on. That one.
Yeah. Where's the pink in that?
All the badges and everything are pink.
Are they? I thought they were red.
No, they're pink. It looks red on that picture, but they are pink.
Right. Yeah, that is a smart shirt.
That's a...
Again, that looks red to me.
Oh. it's like a bright pink, but it is pink. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But I think that was such a great kit. It just looked fantastic.
Do you, just before, I'm sure if you're a non-football fan, you're probably hating this, but the last football thing I'll say, right? Do you remember a Mexican goalkeeper from the 90s called Jorge Campos? Does that name ring any bells to you?
Is that the one who did the scorpion?
No, that's Rene Higuita. He's Colombian and also a drug dealer as well. I think he's got honestly, he's got a very checkered history. Honestly, check out Rene Higuita, and his connections to the Medellin mafia, I think, are quite strong. But the guy I'm on about is he was Mexican, and he was he always, I don't know how they let him get away with this. He was the goalie, but he always used to design his own kits. And one tournament, I think it was USA 94 or Italian 90, he let his kid design it. This was a rumor. I don't know if this is true or not. Look at that. That was his goalie top.
It looks like a Halloween pumpkin or something.
Honestly, and this is another one. Look at that bright pink, yellow.
Oh, yes.
Look how 90s
Do you know what that looks like? That looks like an 80s shell suit.
Well,
looks like you're about to go skiing.
Yeah, it's there's some serious.
What was the brand of shell suit that was all? Oh, see, that's great.
There's some absolute.
what was the brand of shell
Barnstormers.
suit that also did like all the ski stuff? Was it Campery?
Oh yeah, they're like a proper 80s.
Like 80s snowsuits, which were all cracking bright colours. Yeah.
Yeah, Campery, yeah. Yeah, I remember that brand, yeah. Yeah. How did we get talking about that? Oh, Jakob.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so red Norway kit, yeah, it gets my thumbs up, especially as it's got a massive Adidas logo and Jakob's got to run in it all the time.
Well, just like I bought that Kenya kit, that's like that. It just happens to be a Nike. It could be made by Peacocks. I'd still buy it if it's got Kenya written on it. But like that's done Adidas no harm, has it?
Oh no.
Adopting the Norway kit, because obviously they've got some serious athletes, and obviously
and one of the most recognized runners in the world is now wearing their kit.
Yeah,
because he has
people will buy a Norway Adidas singlet now.
Yeah,
because it's pretty cool to wear Norway, isn't it? And
I would, because it's red, not because it's Norway. Because red's my favorite color, so it's the fact it's red. Just I think it looks great, really good.
Yeah. How are you getting on with your Lightning McQueens? I suppose
I haven't even run in them yet.
I was going to say you might not have had a chance. I'm keen to get some Adios 9s,
Yeah.
Because I feel like my Takumis, I wouldn't say they're unstable, but like I did this road session on in the week, and it was a fast session, but it was like around the car park. It was like windy. And I just feel like if I had slightly lower stack height.
Which Takumis were you wearing? The 8s or the 10s?
The 8s.
See, how many miles you done in them now?
They're getting towards 750k, so 400 mile, 450.
Yeah. See, I took my 8s up to 500 mile, but I don't think I mean, they still felt fine and everything, but I don't think I'd push them any further than that.
Right.
I think the foam does start to get a bit softer as it gets to that point where it's not as poppy and there's not as stable, I think.
But I remember just thinking like cornering at speed. If I had like a lower stack height, like if I had a shoe with a bit more, I don't know, what do they call it, ground contact, then I think I'd probably feel a bit more confident going around corners.
As well, if you get a pair, they'll be good for the track. That's what I'm going to use them for mainly, is going around the track, because they're a low stack. I mean, I had the Adios 8s, and that's what I used those for, was track sessions. And these ones look like they're going to be even better for track sessions. It's basically it's like a spike, but without the spikes.
Yeah. I was down at club. Yeah, that's exactly right. Because they're like ballet shoes, aren't they? They're so low to the ground. And I was at a session with Merv, and Merv had the Adios 9s on, and he said he just lives in them. He said he just wears them for all his speed sessions, and he absolutely loves them. And he got the white ones. So I think they might have been the original release colorway ones. Yeah.
Because they released them all, like all the new models, they released them all in that first colorway, didn't they? The white with the black stripes and the flashes of red.
Yeah. So they do look nice, but again, no Tengo dinero. I've got no money.
I know.
So as soon as I get some money, I don't know what I'm going to spend it on.
I know exactly how you feel.
As I keep saying though, my A goal is going to be Valencia. So I feel like I might treat myself in the summer to a good, maybe 3 pairs of shoes: a session shoe, an easy day shoe, and a daily trainer. And I know easy day and daily trainer are very similar, but the reason I say that is because Beardy Rich has been waxing lyrical about his Bostons.
Yes.
He absolutely loves his Boston 12s.
Uh-huh.
So much so that he said I shouldn't really say this, I'm outing him now on the podcast. That he said he's considering running Leeds in them.
Oh.
Because he said he really likes them that much.
The Boston range was always a marathon shoe when it first came out, because that's why they're called Bostons, because they were made for running Boston Marathon, basically.
Of course. Yeah.
So I can't see why you wouldn't be able to run a marathon in them. They're comfy as hell. They're a great shoe, the Boston 12. Yeah. Really good shoe.
He seems to be like gobbling up miles in the good paces as well.
Yeah.
And I think me and Rich were saying like it's going to be such a different marathon because it's going to be quite tactical, really, with thinking about what's around every corner and it's going to be a lot of up and a lot of down. So maybe a carbon shoe or the traditional carbon shoes might not be the way to go because maybe a bit of more comfort may be a better option than
well, that's what I was going to say. Because the Bostons have got the glass fiber rods the same as the Takumis, so would they be a bit nicer going up and down those hills than wearing a carbon shoe that's going to be really, really stiff? You've still got that propulsion from the rods, but it's not as stiff.
Yeah.
So,
but what I was going to say is I might actually get those shoes after the marathon. So forget everything I just said, because I might really look at having a really almost like a brand new rotation for going towards Valencia, because when I go to Valencia, I'm going to be running the most amount of miles I've ever run in my life.
Yeah.
So I know it sound like a spoiled brat saying this, but I want more choice. I want more shoes, because if you put all your eggs in one basket, that shoe at the start of a block compared to week 15 or week 13 or whenever you're peaking won't give you the same thing, will it? So I think that's why it's quite good to have a big shoe rotation. I know I can hear myself saying this out loud, but I know a shoe rotation that your dream shoe rotation is like 1,500 quid's worth in it and the rest.
Yeah.
But I think if I can just get 3 or 4 really good pairs of shoes that I can train in on a weekly basis, then I think I'll be happy. But at the moment, I think the shoes that I've got in 6 months' time, I don't know if they're going to give me the same amount of, be as reliable as I want them to be. So I might have to spend a bit of dosh in the summer.
Yeah, see, that's what I did at the start of this year in preparation for London. I bought all new shoes basically, but I was waiting until I'd got to the end of mileage in my SL2s before I started using my new ones, and then I've hit the mileage in my SL2s and I'm not running, so I haven't used any of the new ones. But there we go. But what I was going to say to you is the Boston 12s, they are such a good shoe. Completely different to the 10 and 11. The 10 and 11, although they were good and I really liked them, the upgrade to the 12 was just miles apart, miles difference. The 12 is an incredible shoe. But by summer, the 13 will probably be out.
I think I've seen a leaked photo or video of it. It's like turquoise, the one I saw.
I don't know
I saw
turquoise one, but the only thing is they have reduced the stack height, so the stack height isn't as big in the 13 as it is in the 12, which I'm not sure why they've done, but there must be a reason behind it.
Maybe they're just trying to make it lighter.
Yeah, possibly.
Or less foam or something. Yeah, it's an interesting one.
So,
but I think, I think slowly but surely you're influencing me to closer and closer to the 3 stripes, because I wore the SLs for my hilly long run the other day and loved them. I've only worn them 3 times now, and every time I have worn them, I've liked them even more than the time before. So really, really enjoying the SLs, the Evo SLs.
They're great, aren't they?
Yeah. And I'm starting to understand why you've got a allegiance to one brand now, because it just simplifies everything. Every shoe feels not similar, but every fit feels similar.
Yeah, if you buy the same size, it's going to feel the same in every shoe. And you know what to expect. The arches aren't going to be too high in one shoe compared to another, and all this sort of thing. You know what the fit's going to be like.
So having said that, how do you think? I know you haven't run in them, but what do you think of the difference between the Pro 3 and the Pro 4 then? Because
so I would say from trying the Pro 4s on a couple of times, I haven't actually run in them, but I've put them on and walked around the house and stuff. Lengthwise, I'd say the fit is exactly the same lengthwise. There's no difference in length. So the amount of gap between my toe and the end of the shoe, I would say it's exactly the same length. But the width of the toe box is narrower in the 4 than it is in the 3. In the 3,
Right.
you've got quite a lot of room in that toe box at the front. And the 4, it feels more of a fitted shape. So yeah, I'm not that might be why some people think that it's shorter and they want to go up half a size. They want to size up in the shoe because it is quite, it's a bit more snug in the toe box in the 4 than it is on the 3.
Right. Yeah, noted. Well, one day I'll have to come around your house and try them on. Well, then again, I've already tried them on myself because when I went to that expo before Valencia, I did have a little run on the treadmill with them, and they did feel really good. The only thing I could really remember about them was the feel of the grip on the outsole felt like glue. It felt really, really sticky.
Everybody's saying how good that is.
And I remember the foam being super squidgy. It felt really, really nice and squashy, but quite bouncy.
The outsole on the Pro 4 is exactly the same as the outsole on the Adios 9.
Yeah.
Same rubber, same little section of Continental, everything.
Yeah. Right.
I have just opened up Instagram, by the way. I was going to have a look to see if I could find a photo of the Boston 13, but the first post that has just opened up when I went onto Instagram is spoiler alert, but European champion Jakob Ingebrigtsen wins his 22nd European Championship title in the 1500.
Yeah,
he's going for the double NE in the 15 and the 3000.
Yeah,
but he won the 1500 in 3:36.56. So 3:36, and it says here he was too strong. He gave his rivals of the day no chance for the title.
Really,
but the kit does look good, doesn't it?
Does look nice.
Look at that.
Does I look at them shorts? The thighs look really good.
But they
does look good
because that's a speed suit, right? So the shorts are part of the of the top as well. Those shorts that Adidas do, they don't do in red for men. They only do black in the men's.
Really?
Those half tights, yeah.
Right.
Which is a bit of a shame because the red's a great colour in it.
Yeah.
Not that I would be buying a pair of half tights because I don't really wear them very often.
I saw in your video one. I don't know if it's your last one or the one before. You use your marathon shorts, the red ones.
Yes, yeah.
Gel shorts. How did you get on in them?
The Adidas gel shorts. They're great. Really, really good. I'm well impressed with them.
Yeah.
There's no need for a running belt with those shorts.
Really?
The amount of pockets and the amount of stuff you can fit in there is crazy.
Oh, that's good.
I put on that run, I put 3 Voom bars, which I broke up into squares and put into little Ziploc bags. But I had 3 Voom bars in the pocket on the side. I had a soft flask of water in the front. I had my phone in the back. And in the other side pocket, I had my keys and my camera.
Really? And it all fitted in?
And it fit with loads more space. Could have fit loads more in there.
That's pretty good, isn't it? Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, so I'm really impressed with them. Really impressed.
Well, again, I might have to come and I might have to help myself and get some.
Yeah, but can you remember ages and ages ago, like last year, I said I already know what shoes I'm running London in, and I already know what singlet
kit?
I'm running London in.
Yeah.
I've changed my mind on the singlet.
Why? What have you changed from and to?
Because I bought the gel shorts in the red.
Yeah.
So that colour that we saw at the running show.
Yeah.
I caved in and bought the singlet as well.
Did you?
Yeah, so I'm going all red.
Nice. You can look like Jakob.
Yeah. Hopefully I can run like him as well.
So you've been Kenenisa Bretali.
Yeah.
Now you could be Jakob
Ingebretson.
Ingebretson. That's yes. Ingebretson. There you go. Yeah. See? Perfect.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go all red. Yeah, which is making me think, did I go too early and like pull the trigger too soon on the Pro 4s? Because they've now released the all red with black stripes Pro 4s.
I'll just get them as well.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, the yellow and red will look
I'll not
cool.
pay the electric bill and just get a new pair of Pro 4s as well.
Yeah, that's fine. Living in a tent is nicer than you think.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah, I think yellow and red would look quite cool together, actually.
Yeah. I know, but
what colour are the stripes on the yellow shoes?
Blue.
Right. Yellow, red, and blue. What, you'd look Romanian. Yellow, red, and blue. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
My body will look like Norway. My feet will look like Sweden.
Yeah. Yeah, you look good, man. Doesn't matter what you wear, as long as you feel confident what you wear. I think if it's all one brand as well, it's funny how brands make things to slot together like a jigsaw.
Yeah.
So colors kind of complement each other, don't they?
Yeah.
Certain colors look really good with other things. You think, that actually looks really good together. Of course it does. It's the same brand. Yeah.
Because at the running show, I also bought a red pair of socks, which is the same red as the singlet and the shorts.
You're going to be so red. You're going to be like a lobster running through Canary Wharf.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to look good though. It's going to look good. Like we said, the color of victory.
Exactly. Scare all the opponents.
Yeah.
Well,
while we're talking about London, we should probably talk briefly about Tokyo, the Tokyo Marathon, which was last Sunday. But before we do that, can I just give a couple of shout outs to a couple of people?
Of course.
The last week was the run through event in Middlesbrough. Was the Borough 10K, and Freddie from Freddie Runs ran it, and so did Scott Graham, and they both ran really good races. So Freddie wanted a sub 2:10, ended up with 2:02:53.
Excellent. Is this for the half?
That's for the half. Yeah,
you did say 10K a minute ago, and I was like,
oh, did I say 10K? Sorry.
Yeah. It was the half.
Yeah, needs to pull your socks up. 2:02 for a 10K, Freddie. Come on, what are you playing at? So amazing work.
Amazing. He was going for sub 2:10 and ran a 2:02.
I think that's what he wanted, or his PB before this was 2:10.
Man, that's amazing.
But he's done a video on it. So if I've got any of that wrong, go and watch his video, and I'm sure all the correct info will be in that.
Yeah.
But
great work, Freddie.
He timed it brilliantly because he stayed in. It looks like a Holiday Inn on the actual start line, and even got pre-race toilet nerves, had enough time to go back to the toilet and get back to the start line on time. And even got back to his hotel for a checkout as well. So he even got back to his hotel before, 11 o'clock or whatever it was. So amazing work, Freddie. So brilliant town planning as well.
That's awesome.
And also to his partner in crime, Scott Graham, who did a 1:46:07, which I think is a big PB for Scott as well. So fair play, lads.
Yeah,
well
great
done.
work, guys.
And I'm sure there'll be a big debrief on your next podcast when you next go live. So well done, boys. And to everyone else that ran that, looked like a good race. That, to be fair, it's a bit of a mission for us, but I might put it on my radar one day. It looks like a good race. So, so the Middlesbrough half marathon.
I need to travel to some more races rather than just doing the same ones each year, because you just stay local, don't you? You know the ones you like, and then you just carry on doing them year in year out. But I think I need to mix things up and go and do some others. Definitely.
But it takes the shine off it a little bit when it's a 4 a.m. wake up.
Yeah.
But that sometimes adds to the fun, I guess.
That's something I was going to say to you last week. So, do you know Rich, who you saw at the Parkrun? Where was it?
Richard Harper.
Yes.
Yeah.
He does Manchester Marathon every year, pretty much, right? Yeah. But he doesn't go up there and stay. He travels from Redditch on the morning, goes and runs the marathon, and then travels back to Redditch in the evening.
Treats it like a parkrun.
Yeah, basically.
Fair play. Does he drive?
Yeah. He drives up to Manchester, goes and runs the marathon, and then drives back home.
How do you work the pedals? Has it got an automatic?
I can do that. It's mental, isn't it?
Wow. Oh, imagine stop-start on the M6 and on like.
Yeah.
You know, like riding the clutch and that with like having just done a marathon. Fair play, Rich. You're a bigger man than I. I don't know if I could do that. I'd rather spend an extra £100 for accommodation that night.
Yeah.
But no, that's really hardcore. Fair play.
Yeah. But yeah, so Tokyo. So the only people I really know that ran it were Paula Radcliffe, obviously. Then there was
your mate Paula.
Yeah. And then Jake Barraclough, who is also known as Ran to Japan on YouTube. And then there was a lad, well, I say lad, a guy from Bromsgrove and Redditch who went over and ran it as well, Daryl Thomas, who I mentioned last week. Do you know what Jake Barraclough actually ran time-wise? Do you know what his official time was?
Well, I think he wanted 2:10.
Yeah, he was aiming for 2:10. I think 2:12 would have been a PB for him, but he was aiming for 2:10, weren't he? Thought he might be in 2:10 shape.
I think, I could be wrong, but I think he ended up with a 2:15.
Okay.
I think that's what he got, but he really struggled in the heat. I think the heat on the day caught a lot of people out. And I mean, going that pace, it's like, I wonder if it's like a lottery, you know, will I or won't I run out of petrol?
Yeah.
You know, that sort of thing. Will the wheels start to fall off towards the end?
Yeah. See, he was saying that in his training videos. He said he could go out for a 2:12 and feel comfortable, but just those couple of seconds per mile to get him down to a 2:10, it could be you've gone out too fast and you will bonk big time. But he said it's worth a roll of the dice.
I'm just looking here. So,
and he's been living in Japan, so he's got that kamikaze brain. Hasn't he? Just go out as fast as you can, and then the whole thing in Japan is positive split in a race.
Yeah,
no such thing as negative splitting over there, is there?
No, they're not interested in that. 2:14.52.
Oh wow! So sub 2:15. That's good.
Yeah. So
amazing.
It looks like he did. It looks like. How do you look at someone's on the Power 10? How do you look at his PB?
It should be at the top on the Power 10. So it should be a list at the top, and each year across the top. But on the left is your PB. You might have to scroll a little bit. Because it'll have all of your PBs from every distance you've ever done. And because he was at Birmingham Uni, he's probably done some 400s and 800s and 1500s and all sorts. You found it? Oh, you've muted yourself, dude. Yeah, you're still muted. No, can't hear you. You've muted again. Oh, go on.
This is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, you're back on now. You're back on.
Hello.
No, you've
I
gone
don't
again.
know. I think I might have. This is ridiculous. Are you having me on?
That's okay now. You're back.
Have I got a faulty connection? Right, I just
You're
won't
back in the
move.
room. You're back in the room.
I won't move ever again. I don't know. I think that might be his PB, the
Yeah,
2:14:52.
I think it is. I think he's never run under 2:15.
Yeah, I think it must be.
But it puts him up there with a top in the country, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. That's and I don't know the elevation of Tokyo, but I understand that it's not as fast as Chicago and Berlin.
And it's lots of just out and backs as well.
Yeah, I saw that. I watched. There's a female runner called Maisie. Maisie runs, and I've seen a few of her videos. And she did Tokyo, and I saw her video, and so much of it was like running against the flow of other people. And I just think, is this just one big out and back? Like, is it like?
Yeah, it's a strange old map because it's like, it's a weird straight road with like some out and backs and then another out and back, and
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find Daryl's map on Strava. There he is. Yeah, I mean, look at that for a weird old course.
Oh yeah, that is strange. It's actually quite good quite nice looking. Actually, I quite enjoy looking at that. It's quite good.
But yeah, there we go.
Well, should we go through some of the results?
Yes, go for it.
So, got some stats here because I just typed in Tokyo Marathon, and the homepage in true Japanese style has brought up loads of stats. So there was 36,697 marathoners, and there was I was querying this with you earlier. There was a completion rate of 97%, which I think is quite high. I just expected there to be 96.6%. I thought it would be lower than that, but
I don't know. If you've entered a major, you're going to do everything you can to try and finish it, and no matter what.
Especially if you've spent an arm and a leg to get there. So maybe you're right. Some stats that I quite like. Marathon completion time in under 3 hours was 5.1%. Between 3 and 4 hours was 26.2%. I quite like that, 26.2.
Yeah.
This was the biggest category. Between 4 and 5 hours was 30.6. Between 5 and 6 was 24.5. And between 6 and 7 was 13.6%. And the winner the men's winner was Benson Kipruto from Kenya, who won it in 2:02:16. And the female winner was Satume Asefa Kebede from Ethiopia, who did it in 2:15:55. So quick times, but not to these ridiculously high standards. It wasn't it wasn't anywhere near a world record for male or female, but looks like they had some decently hot weather to deal with as well.
Yeah, because I think it got up to the high teens, didn't it? During the race, may have got higher during later on in the race, but I'm sure it was about high teens.
Yeah. Hang on, I'm querying whether this is correct now. I'm definitely looking at 2025, aren't I? Benson Kipruto. Did he win in 2:02? Because I've just typed it in, and it says Tadise Takele won it in 2:03:23. What's going on here?
Hang on, I'm gonna Google it as well for you.
Because I'm on Marathon.Tokyo. Am I looking? Oh, I'm looking at 2024.
You are, yeah.
I was looking at a Partridge see where he reads all yesterday's papers. I've read all yesterday's papers.
Yeah, Tadise Tekele and Suteme Asefa Kabede.
So she's won it twice in a row then?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it was a slower than last year, 2:03.23 for the male winner.
Yeah. Benson Kiparuto was 7th. So he won it last year. He was 7th in 2:05.46.
Right. Sorry about that. We always deliver the cutting edge news here on the red line.
And Joshua Cheptegei, who we mentioned last week, who's the 10,000 meter world record holder, he was 9th in 2:05.59.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Yeah. And there was it looks like there was a Japanese male athlete that got into the top 10. Tsubasa Ichiyama, 2:06 flat.
Yes.
Who was 1 second behind Joshua Cheptegei.
Yeah, he was, yeah. And he did a U on it.
Yeah.
Didn't break 2:06, unfortunately.
No. Oh well.
And then in the women's, one of the Aussies got in the top 10 as well. So Jess Stenson got into the top 10. She was one of the Australian girls who went to the Olympics. But I think that puts she was on track for a 2:18 or something like that at halfway. And they were thinking that the Australian record was going to go down, but she started to fade towards the end and ran a 2:22.56. But I think that puts her in like the top 3 or 4 ever from Australia, which is pretty impressive.
We also need to did you mention Paula? I can't remember if you mentioned her actual time. I mentioned
her, but didn't actually say her time. So Paula Radcliffe, at the age of 51, ran a 2:57.26.
That's pretty good.
Pretty impressive for in your 50s, isn't it? So she ran a sub 3, but I did see a thing where she said she was limping for quite a lot of the last, probably last 10K of the race. She was limping quite a lot. And after she'd finished, she sat on the barrier down the middle of the road until the Uber or whatever car came to pick her up. And then she struggled to get into the car. And then she said when she got back to where they were, they had to get a wheelchair because she couldn't walk on her leg.
Wow.
So
this was her first marathon in how long?
Oh, God,
is it about 12 years or 15 years or something? Or less than that?
At least, isn't it? It's got to be at least.
Yeah, so that would have really... that intensity as well, that would have really, really hurt. But isn't she down to do Run Boston as well?
Yes. Yeah.
So when's that? That's about a month and a bit, isn't it?
6 weeks away.
It's before London, isn't it?
Yeah, 6 weeks on Monday.
Yeah, exciting. So, well, that's something to look forward to as well. I can't wait for those 2 weeks to get to have Boston and then London.
I know. It's going to be good. But also from Tokyo, I do need to mention Daryl from BNR who ran it. And he ran a 2:46.24, which is a great time to run. He's put on his Strava that he split it 82.24 in the first half and then an 84 for the second half. So not that much of a positive split, which is fantastic. But that is his 6th star. So he now has a 6-star medal from running all of the majors. But next time he'll have to go and run Australia when he's Sydney and get a 7-star medal.
Are 6-star medals still in production?
They are at the moment because Australia hasn't actually had their first major.
Well, Sydney didn't qualify as a major last year?
Yeah, but it's not actually had its first one as a major. So this year, in summer, when Sydney have their marathon, that's when the first 7-star medals will be given out.
I see what you're saying. So what was last year?
So Sydney last year was just a normal marathon, but from last year's marathon, it gained its major status, but it hasn't had its first major race yet.
Oh, I'm with you. It wasn't. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So last year, after Sydney Marathon last year, Sydney hit all the criteria it needed to become a major. So the first major marathon at Sydney will be this year. So all the races up to Sydney, you'll be able to get your 6-star medal.
I wonder what the ballot percentages of success rate were for
I would imagine quite high. I would say for the first one, there wouldn't have been as many entering the ballot.
Someone told me that Chicago is obscenely high to enter. Someone said that, like, if you enter Chicago, you've got like a 1 in 3 chance of getting it or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is, I thought it'd be like way less than that. But yeah, so apparently if you enter Chicago ballot, Mac's doing Chicago. I'm pretty sure Mac got in the Chicago ballot.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Maybe it was one of those things that you enter, you think, well, I'll never get that.
Yeah.
I've got a $5,000 weekend to pay for now.
Yeah. Going back to Daryl though, in his 6-star medal, right? Check this out. So he's been pretty consistent over his 6 stars. There's one anomaly, but other than that, it's pretty good. So he ran London 2021 and he did 2:47. He ran Berlin 2022 and ran a 2:44. He ran Boston 2023 and ran a 2:46. He ran New York in 2023 and ran a 2:58. So that's the anomaly. But then he ran Chicago last year, 2024, in 2:45. And then he's run Tokyo in 2:46 this year.
Wow, that's
pretty
impressive.
Consistent, isn't it? A 2:47, a 44, a 46, a 45, and a 46. And then 1:58 in there.
Yeah, but New York is the hard one, isn't it? New York's the real hard one to run. Because at least with Boston, you can start fast.
Yeah,
because you've got that fast downhill, haven't you? Yeah. I think from the word go at New York, it's uphill, isn't it? I think that Verrazano Bridge in the first mile is quite a steep climb from looking at the route map of New York, and then you've got the Williamsboro. Is it Williamsboro tunnel or bridge just before you get to Manhattan? I think that looks like a real steep bit. And then there's the Central Park finish, I think, is uphill as well. So that sounds like a really tough one. But that's an incredible haul of...
It is, isn't it? It's not bad.
Yeah, imagine doing all the majors sub-3. Well under sub-3 as well. Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah.
But, yeah. So, right, I'm conscious of time. Shall we quickly run through our training weeks and then get on to some emails and comments? So, very quickly, I'll go through my training week because it's going to be quick once again. I did try to run on Saturday last week, like I said I was going to. Felt fantastic on the Friday and thought, this is it. I'm going to be able to run again. Got ready on Saturday morning, left the house, running down to Parkrun. And it's about 2.5 miles down to Parkrun from my house. And I got about just under a mile in and went, nope, this ain't happening. But carried on. I thought I'll try and get down there. So carried on, got down to Parkrun and was like, this isn't good at all. Just had a bit too much pain in my leg. So did a bit of massage on my back and my glutes whilst I was listening to briefing. And then walked to the start, chatting to Andy Goldsby because he was run director that week. I chatted to him on the way to the start, ended up standing at the start and then went, I might as well. So then set off and just ran it steady. And Adam Hill caught up with me and went, what are you doing this far back, Brett? You're never normally like at this pace. And I was like, I'm struggling, mate. I'm struggling. So we just chatted all the way around and had a really nice chatty run. I mean, it wasn't perfect. I got round, but it wasn't right. So, so in the end, I walked home instead of running home and just went to the gym and got on the cross trainer and did a bit more. So yeah, so that was, I was like, because of that, I'm not going to run for the rest of the week. So on Sunday, I got out on the bike and actually got outside rather than sitting in the gym. I was like, I can't do a long ride sat in the gym, just staring into the room. So got out on the bike, ended up riding 50 miles, which was a great way to spend a Sunday. I rode from Redditch over to Bromsgrove and back, and then out to Great Olne and Little Olne, through Wootton Wowen, through Henley, and then back into Redditch. So yeah, really good down all the country lanes and everything. And then after I'd finished that, walked down to the gym and did 45 minutes on the cross trainer to finish off Sunday. And then Monday, I did 30 miles in total on the bike. I rode 10 miles up to my shop and then rode 20 miles back, and then went down to the gym and did 45 minutes on the cross trainer. Tuesday, I did 45 minutes cross trainer, an hour and 10 on the static bike in the gym, doing a couple of different sessions like hill intervals and stuff, and then did 30 minutes on the cross trainer in my S&C. And then yesterday, I did 20 miles on the bike up to my shop, 10 miles back, and then went down to the gym, did 45 minutes on the cross trainer, 45 minutes session on the static bike, and then 30 minutes on the cross trainer and S&C. So smashing the cross training, getting a load in to keep the work going and keep the fitness up. But yeah, no running this week.
That must be driving you absolutely insane.
Yep. That's why I just wanted to rattle through that and not talk about it anymore.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, sorry if this makes you feel even worse. Then I'll talk to you about my week since last Saturday.
I'm more than happy to hear about everybody else's running. I just don't want to know about my own.
Okay. Well, last Saturday we decided to go to Ludlow Parkrun. One I've done twice before this day, and I'd done it in previously 24 and 25 minutes. And I said to myself, if I can do this sub sort of 23, then I'd be really happy with that, because this parkrun has got 132 meters of gain. So that's about,
wow,
260, that's about 400 foot in a 5K. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's muddy as well. And it's like very traily as well. But the thing is, it's awesome. It's such a beautiful, beautiful parkrun. I absolutely love it. And the week before, the winner won it in 22:30. So I've never won a parkrun. I don't know how it feels. But now I just want to win one. I don't know why I'm getting so competitive, but I just want to make it my life's work to win one. And I thought, I could have a chance here.
You can't win a parkrun. It's not a race.
It's not a race. It is not a race.
It is a race. Of course it's a race.
Of course it's a race. Yes, it's well, it felt like a race because I overtook a child, and I could feel this child trying to overtake me back, and I tactically didn't let him overtake me. right at the end. So I overtook this lad about 4K up the hill.
How old was he?
11 to 14 age cap.
Okay, excellent.
And at the end, just as you're coming into finish, there is the people that you're lapping as well. There's like a tight path, and I tactically recovered, overtook these people in single file, and then kicked hard to make sure that he couldn't get me. Because if those people I hadn't have overtaken weren't there, then he would have done me, because I had overtaken him maybe 1,000 meters too early. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, I forgot the fact that he's 12. He's going to be like a Duracell bunny. I couldn't get rid of him. And then, but what you will like, because I'm eventually going to get round to doing this video.
I was going to say, please tell me you filmed it. Yeah.
Yeah. 500 meters before the finish, there was someone else there. And it became such a tactical battle because I could feel this lad behind me the whole way. I could hear him breathing. And there was someone else who we were catching. And I remember thinking to myself, this is over in 500 meters. If I've got to go, I'm going to go now. So I literally surged to get past this lad. And I thought I could drop the 11-year-old, but he came with me. And I thought, oh, God. So my surge turned into like a 300-meter final sprint in my trail shoes, in the mud, in the trees, lapping people as well, and it was just carnage. But I ended up getting round in 22:11 or 22:10
Nice.
official time.
So would have won it any other week.
Yeah, but I think I came 7th in the end.
Oh, what?
I know. So that's what happened. So that's what happens sometimes, isn't it? But that was good fun. And then we went to Ludlow after. We had to walk around the town centre. It was really nice. Then travelled up to Oldham, listened to Keith sing I'm a Firestarter.
Yeah.
And then got up at 7 o'clock in the morning and did a 26k run, which is just over 15 miles, I think. And my route was basically uphill, up to the top, up to the Pennines, and then back down. Yeah. And it was good leads training, because if I can just show you the elevation plot, if I can, well, as soon as my thing loads, I'll show it you. But it was hard graft, and I just took that. I've heard a lot of people call it steezy. It was a steezy run, so it wasn't any marathon pace. It was just literally, let's just get up this hill, and let's just get this long run done by any means necessary. And I'd had a skinful of Guinness the night before as well, which I'm now convinced is a performance enhancer. Well, I actually felt really good after all probably about 6 or 7 pints of Guinness.
Yeah, each one is a meal in a gas. Meal in a glass, full of iron and loads of carbs.
Honestly,
so you basically carb loaded the night before.
Yeah, I didn't even consider that. It's carbs, isn't
it? Instead of filling your belly with pasta and then getting halfway through the race and having a dicky tummy, you decided to have a hangover instead.
Just got wrecked. But because I'm old enough and ugly enough now to know, don't mix your drinks. When I was a kid, I used to mix my drinks, and I wonder why I'd wake up with a really bad headache, drinking beer, wine, spirits. If I just stick to one drink all night, and I don't really drink a lot now, that's my only get out of jail free card. Just pick a drink and don't mix. And but anyway, this is my elevation map here. It was up a big hill. If anybody knows that part of the world, it was up a road called the Ripponden Road, which had, looking at this, nearly 200 meters of climbing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The hill was 5k, 3 miles long, and goes all the way from Oldham all the way to the top to a place called Grange Bar. And then it was a really steep descent down. So again, smashing the quads, good training for the old quads. And then I went down to the canal level and then did another hill and then back into Oldham, which was nice. And then got in the car, drove home via KFC, which we won't talk about. It was a Sunday, so it's fine. Yeah. Monday did a bit of recovery, just did my usual recovery loop, which is about 12k with Daisy. And then Tuesday I went down to club, but not the usual club. So I went down training with a different club called Worcester AC. Merv, a mate of mine, has been, saying, "Oh, you should try it, see what you think." So I thought, yeah, my subs are coming to an end with my other club. So I thought, yeah, I'll go and try it, do the free trial. I went down to club, and it was a road session. It was up near, it was the car park of where we do Worcester Woods Parkrun. Yeah. And we did a perfect 800-meter circuit around the car park. And the coach, who I've told you about before, is my next door neighbor, who's the Olympian.
Yeah.
We spent about 10 to 15 minutes just doing drills. And I've never done that before at a session. And I thought, wow. And just towards the end, we did some strides and uphill strides, some downhill strides. It was just really, really good. And we got, and it was just like, yeah, this is really, there was only a small number of us as well. And me and Merv did all the reps together, and that was really good. So we were keeping it just below that sub 25k pace. It was probably more like, I don't know, 1930 pace. We were doing the 800 meters reps. I did 6 800s because the session was 8. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do my 8 and impress the coach. And on the 5th one, Chris said, Christine, the coach, she's like, maybe just do 6 for your first one. So I must have been blowing. I must have looked like I was struggling towards the end. And if an Olympian, if a Commonwealth gold medalist tells you just do 6, you just do 6.
Yeah.
And then Wednesday, I did my double day, as always. So I woke up and did 8k hilly run up with with Daisy up the Malverns, which was fun. Then later on, before the sun went down, so about 5 o'clock, I went out for another run. Now, I forgot to factor in that all my local routes, door to door, are hilly. So this easy run that I had planned didn't turn out to be so easy. And I did 13K, which is about 8 miles. And it was almost as hilly as the Malverns run. So that had 700 foot of gain in that run. So that was not an easy run. And then woke up Thursday and was going to go to club again. But I thought I literally couldn't. I just couldn't. The thought of a speed session on the track, I just thought, no, I'm going to embarrass myself. So I just took Thursday as a rest day, which I'm glad I did. And then today I've just done a really nice recovery run on the flat.
Ooh.
Drove down to Worcester. And, well, actually, Laura dropped me off because she went shopping. And I did a 10K circuit around my old stomping ground. And I can't believe, like, the difference. Like, I've forgotten what it's like to run on pan flat ground on my easy runs. And it's so much easier. So much easier. So by the end, I felt really good. I felt like I'd really sort of shaken out all that lactic acid. Well, maybe not all of it, but I felt so much better than when I started. And now I feel good. I feel ready to rock and roll for Parkrun tomorrow. I haven't actually decided where I'm going to go yet. But, might do a traily one again.
That sounds like
give it a go.
Week. Sounds like
and then,
week training.
I've got a Sunday long run, and that should take me up to 95K. So it should take me to about 55 miles ish.
Nice.
58 maybe. So that's going to be a big week for me.
Yeah.
So that's what I've got planned.
Excellent.
30K Sunday.
Nice. Right. So, shall we quickly go through some the comments very quickly, because there's not a huge amount, and then we'll get straight onto the emails. So first one is from Georgie Boy 5256, and he says, just a heads up, but Bolt started his career as a 400-meter runner. At their peaks, it would have been 500 to 600 meters before Kipchoge probably beats him. Fred Curley, current 100-meter silver medalist, runs 43.6 400 meters. He'd be okay over 600 meters versus Kipchoge. He actually challenged the 1500 meters Olympic champion over 600 meters. So because we were having that chat, weren't we, about Bolt and Kipchoge, where would they cross over? So Georgie Boy reckons it would be more like 500 to 600 meters rather than 400. But with that, Usain Bolt, yes, he started as a 400-meter runner, but do you know why he became a 100 and 200-meter runner?
No.
He didn't want to do all the long training. He didn't want to do the training that you needed to do to be 400. He wanted to do the shorter training. So he didn't want to have to put the effort in all the time. So when he was doing the 100 and 200, would he have been as fast as he was when he was a 400-meter runner? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
But then next one is from Mark Stockwell. And he says, like the others, I listen on my long run and had to get home quick to check the new look on YouTube. New haircut, Brett. Big thumbs up from me and the missus. Cheers, Mark. That's nice. Oh, and then next one is another one from Georgie Boy. So he's been busy on our comments. And it says, Aldi and Lidl weren't brothers. It was Aldi and Aldi Sud. Two separate supermarkets who separated over their beliefs as to whether they should sell cigarettes.
Oh, wow. That is interesting. So once again, spreading fake news on Reddit, running the red line.
Next one's from Kieran Turner from our last episode, and he says, wait till you try 100-miler. You're near on inverted.
I think we all know what he's talking about there. That's in response to the Mushroom Men, I think, isn't it? Yeah.
And then, great pod, guys. Hope you're back to full fitness soon, Brett. Next one's from Run Like a T-Rex. And he says, just taken delivery of my shoes for Manchester Marathon. I'm hoping it's a case of dress like Brett, run like Brett. Have placed my feet in the care of the 3 Stripes. Adios Pro 3s. Can't wait to try them out on my 20-miler this weekend.
Amazing.
Yes, you will run well in the Pro 3s. They are a great shoe. Yeah, I mean, both of my sub 3 marathons have been in the Pro 3s. So, yeah, hopefully they will do you well, Dave. So, yeah, run well.
Yeah, I ran a massive PB in Newport in them 3:36 I ran. So, yeah, the good shoes.
Yeah. Next one's from Mac Tracks, friend of the podcast, Mac.
Here he is. Here he is.
And he says, laughing out loud at the random penguin chatter. Shout out to Punky Penguin.
Right. So you're not on your own then.
Yeah. And the last one I need to read out is from the great 772, who was the person who commented about the half tights.
Yeah.
And he has put, thanks for the advice. I can confirm button mushroom.
Brilliant. Absolute legend.
And he also says, I've recently purchased a used pair of Alphafly version 1s in good nick. I personally think if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and they should re-release version 1s as an OG option. Do you guys have any shoes you think should be re-released?
I really liked the Invincible 2. I really enjoy the Nike Invincible 2s. I use them for my big bulk of my Manchester Marathon training in 2023. Did about 1,000K in them and maybe more. Really like them. I know Beardy Rich is a big fan of them as well. But again, like anything good, it gets discontinued because the new version comes along. Yeah. Quite quick, but also weirdly quite comfy and squishy and a bit of a do-it-all shoe. Yeah, that would be my one, the Nike Invincible 2.
Yeah. I think mine would possibly be the Adios Pro 2. I absolutely loved my Adios Pro 2. I reckon I put probably 650 mile into them. I'm gonna check Strava and I tell you what, when I retired them, they still felt like they could have done loads more mileage. They were a fantastic shoe. I ran all sorts of runs in them. I ran Parkrun in them. I ran long runs on a Sunday in them. I thought they were fantastic.
Well, just while you're looking for that, the other one I would competitively say about the Invincible would be the Saucony Endorphin Speed 2, which was an incredible shoe. It just took me about 500 miles to realize that I'd sized myself wrong. Nah. So I was running for all that time thinking, oh, this is a bit snug. Maybe this is how it's supposed to feel. I wish I'd just gone half a size up. But that shoe was absolutely incredible. Ran Brighton Marathon in that. And all my OG PBs in that 5K, 10K half marathon. And the Speed 3 was good, but the Speed 2 just had the edge.
Yeah. I've just found it. I ran just under 550 mile in my Pro 2s before I retired them. But
yeah,
they were great. They fit actually very similar to the Pro 4, the upper fit.
Yeah,
it was a bit narrower in the toe box, and they just felt a little bit more streamlined than the Pro 3. But the Pro 3 feels a bit smoother.
Yeah.
So it's like pros and cons of both of them. But yeah, the Pro 2, they were such a great shoe. I'd love another pair of them.
Yeah. Right. Cool. Is that the end of the comments?
That is the end of the comments. Would we like to get on to emails?
Yeah, we've got quite a few, so we might not be able to get round to them all, but we'll start with Alan Nutton, or Alan the Nutter. Sorry, Alan. I don't know why you've been given that nickname, but you have. The Nutter. The Nutter. Right. Hi, Brett and Andy. A few weeks ago on your podcast, the question was asked by Andy if there's any runners out there that don't ever do S and C and run at a decent level. I'm similar to Brett in PBs and age and have been running for around 6 years. As I've progressed each year, increasing mileage and quality of workouts, I've never done strength and conditioning training. I did join a gym late last year and had one session, but hated every second and figured I got into running because I like running and want to do more of it. I get that S&C could further improve my running, but it's not worth suffering it. And I'd rather plateau my running improvements than do something I hate so much. I hear a lot of how doing strength and conditioning helps prevent injury too. Obviously, the evidence is out there to some extent, but I also have in my mind that everybody's body and mind is different, responds differently, and acts differently. Something that works for one person might not do the job for somebody else. I've not had any injuries as of yet, other than in the early days when I increased my running volume too quick, too soon, and my high hamstrings felt the strain. This could be pure luck or good genes, but I'm going with it. I suspect many runners don't do any or regular strength and conditioning, but just don't let it be known, as it gives the impression that you're doing things wrong. But I thought I'd share my experience as a non-strength and conditioning kind of guy. You're not alone out there, Andy. Keep up the great work, guys. By far the best running podcast, and I've been down since day one.
Nice. Look at that.
Alan. Wow, nice one. Cheers for the kind words
at
the end, mate. Yeah, cheers. That is interesting, isn't it? That he's gotten to a level that's quite competitive. You know, if he's running similar times to what you're running and he's not doing S&C, his body, I wonder if he's just trained his body into running is what we do and running is what I do, and this is what my body needs, and it doesn't need much else.
Yeah.
But as we all know, bodies are very delicate things.
Yeah. See, I'm starting to think whether I should just quit S&C, because every time I do a marathon block, I really concentrate on the S&C, and then my injury flares up all the time. But I don't know. I think without the S&C, it'd be even worse. But
I had a massage from a masseuse called Jill not long ago, and she said, "Jill, do you like owls?" I know, a cracking owl sanctuary.
You've got chocolate mousse all around the balance, Jill.
You are so dirty.
What's the balance? And the skirting that goes round the side of the bed.
And the first question she said was, "Do you do strength and conditioning?" I said, "No." Well, she said, "You're an idiot then." That was pretty much what she said. And I think most people who are in the industry are of the opinion that it's the done thing. That's what you do. And if you don't, it's a real amateur rookie mistake not to do it. And I get it. I see the not even the benefits. I see the way of life, because you're strengthening those key muscles ready to go again.
Yeah.
But where I struggle, and I know this is the most stupid thing to admit, and Alan's probably the same. If I'm in the gym, then I'm not out running.
Yeah.
Which I know is ridiculous. And I know you've said to me numerous times, just drop 5K a week or drop 10K a week and do an extra half an hour or an hour of kettlebells or resistance or of drills. Well, not drills, but like, just basic stuff. And I just can't do it. I cannot do it. I don't know why. I don't have the discipline in me.
But you every time you've tried to do S&C, you've done it at home, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've never actually gone somewhere to do it. Because that's one of the things. I do my S&C at the gym because I know if I'm paying for the gym, I'm going to go and do it. I'm going to go and use that gym because I'm paying for it. Every time I haven't had a gym membership and I think when I get home, I'll do my S&C, I don't do my S&C. I bought some dumbbells and everything so I could do my S&C at home, save me money so I wouldn't have to pay for the gym each month. I thought this is the perfect idea. Got a couple of different weights of dumbbells and everything, had them set up in my front room, bought a mat that I could do all the exercises on and everything. I think I used it twice.
Yeah.
And it's just because it's far too easy not to do it at home. But now I know I'm paying for the gym every week. We finish our runs with club at the gym every night, every Tuesday and Thursday night. So it's just logical to then go into the gym, get my S&C done before I go home.
Yeah. I also think that there is something in, if you are going to be stubborn, like me and Alan, and not do any S&C, then I think there is a lot of method in having discipline throughout your week. So for me, I wouldn't say I'm an 80-20 runner, but I do a lot of stuff below effort levels, before they start becoming high efforts. So I do a lot of stuff that's relatively easy. I'm also quite a good hard recoverer. I'm quite good at recovery because I do like, I love my maths. I love my reality TV. I'll quite happily sit down and watch a lot of TV. And I'll stick my legs in the air and I'll recover. And I'm quite good at recovery. I'm good at sleeping. I'm lucky. I haven't got a job or a lifestyle that makes me only sleep 1 hour a night like you. So that's where I'm also quite fortunate. I can get some good recovery in. And another thing is I can actually I can discipline myself to do active recovery as well. I feel like that is a skill that I've learned to slow myself down. When it comes to an easy run and you're creeping up and you're getting quicker and quicker, you've got to slow yourself down, because that's where you can maybe injure yourself, is by going too hard the day before a session, and then bang, session day hits, day after you can't walk, because maybe the day before you could have done it maybe slightly easier maybe. And the other thing that I do, and I've implemented now as part of my lifestyle, is hills, because my top half of my body is pathetic. Like I couldn't even lift the phone. Do you know what I mean? I don't do any weights, but my legs are getting better at responding to hills, both up and down. So quads are getting better, hammies are getting better, glutes are getting better, calves are getting better, because I'm putting hills in as well. So I think you can't just run fast every time and never go to the gym. You can't just do a sub 16-minute parkrun every Saturday and then a 20-mile long run Sunday, and then go 2 sessions a week and expect yourself never to get injured, because you probably will. If you're not going to do the S&C, you've got to find balance in different ways. I think you've got to try and be sensible, and find balance somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah. I think what you were saying about recovery is really important as well. Yeah. I honestly think that my terrible sleep schedule and routine is partly to blame for my issues. I don't get enough sleep at all. And then it's not like on the weekend, sometimes I try and catch up on sleep, but that doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. You need sleep each night rather than hardly any for a few nights and then try and get a bit extra afterwards. That's not how it works. It does.
Because you sometimes do that, don't you? And if you've got the opportunity and try and sleep until 10:30 or 11, you wake up and you feel even more tired.
Yeah.
You feel even more sluggish, don't you, by waking up later? And so it is
and I'm terrible at napping. I can't nap. Once I'm awake in the morning, I can't nap during the day. The only time I sleep is when I go to bed at night. I've tried to nap in the past and I just can't do it. My head's brain racing in the day. Yeah.
I'm really good at napping. Like I think I've put that on my CV. That's why I never get any jobs. I'm really genuinely quite a good napper. I do quite like a good nap. I think after a Sunday long run, for me, right, I've started, I don't do this every week, but getting out of bed, and again, ideal world situation here, getting out of bed, 6:30 in the morning, Sunday morning, when you're supposed to not be on the streets, go and do 18 mile, and you're back home for breakfast, have a little afternoon nap, you finally get to bed at 9 o'clock at night, you're absolutely shattered because you've got up so early and did a big run in the morning, which I know is not everyone's cup of tea, but a long run early in the morning really, really sets me up nicely for a good Sunday.
Yeah. when when you just said and get back for breakfast, all I could think was Ace Rimmer saying, "Smoke me a kipper, I'll be back for breakfast."
Is that Ace? Hang on. Oh, you've lost me here.
Ace Rimmer from Red Dwarf. I don't know if you've
Oh,
watched
yeah.
Red Dwarf.
Yeah, I remember Red Dwarf. Yeah, I don't know well enough to quote. Was Rimmer
He's the hologram.
Chris Barry? Oh, right. Yeah. Chris. Yeah. Right. So moving on to the next one. This is. I love the title of this. This is called. The title is called Beardy Rich. So, Beardy Rich, you have an admirer.
Amazing.
But it's from his mate Mark.
Mm.
So this is from Mark Burton, and he's written in and he said, "Hi Andy and Brett, just done an ultra marathon over February and listened to all 53 podcasts to play catch up."
When he said ultra marathon, I thought he'd run one. No, ultra marathon of podcast listening.
An ultra marathon of listening to podcasts.
Oh man,
so 53 times 2, that's like 100 hours.
That's crazy.
Flipping hell, that's like a 6-day binge fest, isn't it? I echo other commentators, super fun, informative, and a great listen for long runs. I'm one of those London Marathon tossers who just entered the ballot for fun with no real intention of becoming a runner or being one. In doing so, I joined a running journey with an old friend, Beardy Rich. Rich has pushed me and given me direction, joining a social running club and entered numerous other running events. I feel a bit of a fraud on this journey, but I'm enjoying the ride so far. I can assure you, if it weren't for Rich, I'd have hung my running shoes up and burnt them at the end of the marathon and said never again. Now, like you, Andy, Rich has roped me into running both Leeds and Valencia. That is true. I would have so much more money this year if it weren't for Beardy Rich.
Yeah.
He's a little influencer, isn't he, Beardy Rich? I have subsequently started a running group with a bunch of dads from my kids' school who seem to be inspired by myself doing London last year. It's clearly evident that your YouTube and pods inspires others who inspire others and so on. Andy, I still attest that your Manchester Marathon video that you did was the best representation and inspiration of running the marathon distance. Oh, that's very kind of you, mate. Cheers.
That's nice.
And to this day, it remains my highest ever watched video. So thanks for the time that you both invest into your projects. Apart from each other, is there one person who's inspired you or you attribute to being where you are or continuing on your running journey? Best wishes, Mark. And also, shout out to friend of the podcast, Mac. Nice one, Mark. What a great email.
Yeah, cheers, Mark. That's ace.
There's a lot of love there. So I really like that. That's really nice saying that what we do has got a bit of a knock-on effect, because I always think that we're just spouting absolute nonsense.
Yeah,
but
we are.
We are. But within the layers of, underneath the layers of nonsense, there are a couple of nuggets of wisdom. Well, yeah. I don't know if I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but my reasons for getting into running were very self-centered and very self-conscious, and I'm almost to the point of a little bit ashamed of it. I wanted to just lose weight, which I know is what a lot of people will get into running for. I was getting married and I didn't like the way I looked. Quite simple. And I just thought, I'm getting married in 4 months. If I start running 2 or 3 times a week, maybe I can lose half a stone. And then lockdown happened and I just didn't stop. And then here we are 5 years later. 5 years later, almost to the day since lockdown. And so not really one person. I tell you though, it's Laura. I've got to be honest. If it weren't for Laura, I wouldn't be doing this, because she makes my life so much easier by doing everything. Like if I go for a long run, I'll come home to the smell of like bacon and sausage. Like she'll make me a breakfast when I get back. She's just an angel. She literally is just an angel walking the earth. So without a shadow of a doubt, I'd say Laura. But the reason I got into running was because I didn't really like who I was, if I'm being honest. I didn't really like the person I was becoming, and I wanted to change it.
That's amazing. Yeah. I like you go for a long run and you come back to the smell of bacon and sausages cooking. I go for a long run, come back home to the smell of the cats have just done a poo in the cat litter tray and then moaning at me for food.
That's your Boba and Misa are your why. That's your why.
I don't know if there's anyone I would say is my like obviously one of the reasons I started putting YouTube videos on was I was watching loads of running YouTube because I was getting so like during lockdown I got so much back into running that it sort of took over my life. Running became my number one thing that I was into.
Yeah.
And I was watching a lot of other running YouTube and I was watching it just thinking, I want to do that. I want to do that. So I did. But I don't know if there's any one particular running YouTuber that I particularly would say inspired me. It was just all of them, really.
Yeah.
There's quite a few more than you can really list and name.
Yeah. And is there anyone at club who's like just an absolute beacon of like legendariness? Is there someone at club who's like been doing it for so long you think, oh man, I want to be doing it when I'm your age or anything like that? Or is there anyone or is it just everyone at club has got the same?
Yeah, to be honest, everyone at club I look at and think that's ace. The young lads I look at and think I wish I was your age again and doing this at your age because I didn't get into running early enough. I still wish that I'd have found running when I was younger because I honestly think I would have properly got into it, but it wasn't anything that I ever thought about doing. So yeah, I do look at the younger lads and think, yeah, I wish I was your age getting into it now because you're going to be hitting your prime and your peak soon. And yeah, but then all of the older guys as well and the guys my age, I look at and think this is ace to be surrounded by people who have got the same thoughts and ideas about what they want to do. Everybody wants to push themselves to the limit. Everybody wants to do the best they possibly can. And to do that, they're all putting in full effort, maybe at different levels and at different speeds, but everyone is inspiring because they've all got the same main target and end goal is to be the best runner they possibly can.
Yeah. Do you remember, was it the London Marathon that got you into it? Same as Mark, that got you into running?
So yeah, I entered the London Marathon for the first time. That was my first ever race of any kind, and I entered it because I entered it for charity because it was always on my bucket list. I wasn't a runner, but I'd watch London Marathon on the TV every year and go, "That looks amazing. I want to do that." Before, I did always say I'm going to do that before I'm 30, and it took me until I was 31 to do it. It was a case of it's on my bucket list. That's something I want to do. So let's just do it before I put it off any longer.
Yeah,
and just get my name down. But I didn't enter the ballot. I got through it on a charity place, so I had to raise money, which was just as much effort as actually running the marathon. I think trying to earn the money each year.
Yeah. Right. Well, thanks for your email, Mark. That was really good. I think we've got time for. We'll just do one more, and then we'll go to the double S.
Yes.
To finish. Right, so this is from Jordan Knapp. Now, last time Jordan wrote in was just before Christmas, and he did the Auckland Marathon.
Yes.
And this was the same Jordan that had like a previous PB of like, I don't know, 5 hours or something. And then he went and ran like a 3:15 or something at Auckland. So, which was also a progressive negative split as well. So now, get this. Hi, Brett and Andy. So I'm training for Comrades Marathon in South Africa this year. Brackets. Don't know if you've ever heard of it or not. Comrades, bloody hell, mate.
Yeah.
Don't like to take things. Don't like to do things by halves, do you?
No.
So, for anyone that doesn't know, this is a. Oh no, I'm sure he will explain. Right? Okay, it's the down run this year. So from Pietermaritzburg to Durban in South Africa. I will add a picture of the route elevation profile with it being 89 kilometers with a 12-hour cutoff. My training started in the first week of January for a solid 24-week build to make it a successful race. I'm planning on running 3 runs of at least 50k distance, as I've never ran more than a marathon. So training for these longer distances will help massively, but Comrades is different to most ultras, as there is an aid station every 2 to 3k. So having a vest belt is not often used by runners during the race. I know that you both have run at least 50k before, more so Andy than Brett. So what are your preferences on running vests versus running belts? Also, as I need to train solid foods, as I need to train solid foods, as I've always used gels. So what solid foods would you guys recommend to have during the 50k? I've heard many suggestions from bananas to chews to baby food sachets, and would like to know your guys' go-to for solid food choices. To add, times in other distances are starting to improve again during this training phase. That being my half marathon time has improved from 1:30 to 1:28:21, brackets sub 1:30, baby, on a course with 300 meters of elevation. That's 1,000 foot. And my parkrun time improving from 19:01 to 18:37. So I feel like I will get to Comrades pretty strong at this rate. It was awesome to see you both get a great PB at the Warwick half. Now this, I'm just holding this up to the camera now for anyone listening. That's the elevation profile of a down run.
Oh, okay.
So that is, I'd say, I mean, I don't want to say it's flat for the first 2/3 because it won't be, but it looks to sort of fluctuate between 600 and 750 meters above sea level for, let's say, 65k. And then from there, it is a steep downhill, what looks like towards the sea.
So once your legs are tired, you've then got 20k of batter in your quads.
All the best, Jordan. Well, yeah. So this is one of the most legendary races in the whole world because it's famous for its really brutally strict cutoffs. If you are within 5 meters, 1 meter even, of not hitting that, was it 12-hour cutoff?
Yeah.
You don't get a medal. Marshals will literally come and get you like the gauntlet from Gladiators, and they will not let you finish the race. They literally smother you, and they like rugby tackle you down to the ground so you cannot cross that line. And it's I don't know how long it's been going, but each year it changes from an up year to a down year, as far as I know. And I've seen a couple of videos on it, and it looks nothing short of incredible. So the start starts very early. And by the way, I read as well that the 12-hour cutoff starts whether you're up the front with the elites or you're back at the very back.
Wow.
It's not a chip time. It's a gun timed event. So that is probably the incentive to start a bit further forward. That could be wrong, but I think that's right. I think that is right. But how do you train for that? Well, of course, you've got to get the time on feet in, which sounds like you're doing.
Yeah.
Your half time and your 5k time is going down. So it sounds like you're doing lots of good VO2 max stuff and your endurance is in a good place. But fueling, I'll be honest, mate, I don't know how to fuel for that because the 50Ks I've done, they've taken me like they've taken me all day. I'm not under a strict time pressure to do it.
Yeah.
And running at that pace as well. All right, let's start with that. A belt versus a vest. What would you wear?
I'd probably go for a belt because I don't like the way the vest bounces on you. Even if you do it on tight, it still bounces. You've got those soft flasks in the front and they bounce. On that 50k that we did just after it was the start of this year, I stupidly put my phone in the pocket on the chest on my
backpack. backpack vest thing.
Your backpack vest thing, whatever they're called. I put the phone in there, and then it had the soft flask on top of it, and the weight of the phone and the soft flask banging into my chest. I had a bruised like rib and chest bone for about 3 or 4 weeks after that. It was really tender to touch, all because of that constant banging against you. Even when you're not running fast, it's just every step it's banging into your chest.
I would agree. I'd say if speed is of the top of your agenda, then you need to think about your center of gravity, and you can eliminate running a bit slower, I think, by loading up your midriff. So if you can have some gel shorts and get some good shorts with some good pockets, then I'd probably go with a belt as well. I've got both. I like the vests for slow, easy. We can take all day to do this. But if speed is of the essence, then it's a belt, because I wouldn't dream of running a road marathon with a vest on.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's like anything. If you've got pockets, you'll fill them. If you've got a coffee table in your house, you're going to put stuff on it. If you've got a surface to fill, you'll fill it. So if you can eliminate any unnecessary weight, then I'd say do that, especially if you've only got to go 2 to 3K between aid stations. I mean, I don't know what the temperature is going to be like for you, because it's 90K. So that's what, 50. Well, it's a double marathon, obviously. What's 90K? 100K is 60 mile, isn't it? So it's about 55 miles, 58 miles.
100K is 62 miles.
62. So 89K then, 11K less. So 6 mile and a bit less.
So it's about 50, 55 mile, isn't it?
Yeah. So what did you say? A bit of advice someone said to you a while ago: start with solid food before you hit the gels.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So solid food for as long as you can before you then go on to gels.
Yeah. But I don't think you should take
55.9 miles. So basically 56 mile.
Yeah. Jordan, I wouldn't take too much stuff with you, because I know you get lighter as the race goes on, but that's when the fatigue starts to get you anyway. So it doesn't really matter. But I mean, I don't know what you're planning. Are you planning to run the whole thing, or are you going to walk, some of the hills? I don't know how you're going to do it.
It also depends as well what they've got at the aid stations. If you know what the fuel or food or whatever they've got there at the aid stations, because if they're stuff that you've not trained with, would it be a good idea to take it on? So it's one of those, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you can probably just about blag a marathon without having gels, but you can't blag this. So you're going to have to think about, I think a big thing is going to be water. So you have to consider water. You might have to take water with you. Maybe just take a soft flask in your belt. But then again, you might think, well, it's only 2 or 3K. But towards the end, you'll get more and more dehydrated. So probably best to have something on you. But yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Voom bars. I mean, I don't know, because I think you're over in New Zealand, aren't you? So I don't know if you can get hold of them. But Voom bars, they're like chews. They're really good. I really like them.
Yeah.
And another thing we've talked about a lot is flavor fatigue. So don't get one flavor of everything, because very quickly you'll be like, I can't eat this anymore.
Yeah.
And everything tastes the same. So if you can mix it up with different flavors and textures and do that. We're big fans of saurine.
I don't know if you can, exactly what I was going to go on to next. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you can take any of that with you. I mean, is it malt loaf or fruit loaf? What is it?
Malt loaf. Yeah.
Malt loaf.
Saurine. Yeah. Saurine's the brand. So
that's really good stuff. But yeah, I wouldn't pack too much stuff with you, because
for our 50K we did as well. I made some like homemade flapjacks, but they weren't like normal flapjack. So I got some overripe bananas and mushed them up until they were quite liquidy, and then put oats and protein powder and a bit of peanut butter in there, and then baked it so it turned out like flapjack, but it had the carbs from the oats and the banana in there. So
yeah, and they're light, aren't they, flapjacks?
Yeah,
they're not like bulky. So, but yeah, Jordan, I don't know what the date of the Comrades is, but I think it's usually May. I think, but please let us know.
Yes,
Blow by blow, how it went, good, bad, ugly, everything, because I would love to do it one day. I don't know if it's going to be anytime soon, but I love the idea. I've seen the pre-race spiritual, ritualistic dancing that a lot of the locals do, and the energy of the singing. Everyone just breaks into song. I don't know if you've seen it, and they're sort of like chanting, and it just looks absolutely amazing. And I think, I could be wrong as well, but I think there's a bit of this route where it's bad luck if you don't touch a certain bit of the wall, because if you do touch it, I'm pretty sure it gives you a better second half than your first half, or something like that. There's like an old, an old like runner's tale.
Is it the same as a young child holding up a picture of a mushroom halfway through a marathon?
Tap to power up, basically. Yeah. It's the Comrades version of that. So, yeah, best of luck, Jordan. That's an incredible race to take on.
Amazing.
And I'm very, very jealous, because that looks incredible.
Is that on your bucket list, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I would love to go. Never been to South Africa, so I think it would be absolutely amazing. So 100k though in 12 hours. Took me and Sam 16 hours when we did it. When we did Race to the Stones.
So hang on. Did you say it's 100k the Comrades?
Well, it's 89.
Okay. So
I mean that's not going to be easy. I mean, I know it's all on tarmac and a bit of it's downhill. Well, 2/3 of it is, but that doesn't make it any easier, does it?
No.
So
amazing.
All the best. All the best.
Yeah. Right. So we'll leave the emails there. We'll do the rest of them next week. But just to finish off, we need to get to the Strava segment. So last week's Strava leaderboard on our Strava club. First place for distance was Ryan Baker from Rayleigh's Adventures with 83.7 miles. Second was Ryan Gorn with 83.1 miles. So there was actually only 0.6 of a mile in first and second. And then in third was Rory Hancock with 75.1 miles.
Oh, fair play, Rory. Good lad.
And then for the climbing, first place was our second place in distance, Ryan Gorn, with 8,047 foot.
What?
Second place was Rory Hancock, with 7,415 foot.
Go on, Rory.
And then third was Stephen Smith with 4,488 foot.
Amazing.
And then our top three ladies for distance. First was Victoria Lee with 63.2 miles. Second was Chloe Hamard with 58 miles. And third, she's back.
DCR.
Yeah.
Hey!
With 55.2 miles.
She's back.
Well done, everybody. Great work on that. And yeah, congrats for hitting the top three in our Strava leaderboard.
Yeah. I think Chloe is off to do another half marathon very soon.
Yes, I think
is it the Malaga half marathon, maybe? I can't remember which one it is she's doing. It's probably one in Spain. It's probably one where it's hot and it's
nice weather. Yeah.
So good luck to you, Chloe, if that is this weekend. Yeah.
So that is us pretty much done, I think, for this week.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for watching or listening. Make sure you give this video a like, comment if you feel like it, But if you're not already, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let's get to that next milestone of subscribers. But yeah, thank you so much, and we shall see you next week. Cheers, guys.
Take it easy, guys.